Two. Hey folks, how's it going? It's Friday. We made it to the end of the week. Gonna do some Unity game dev stuffs today. I hope you've had a good week and enjoying your Friday. I've had a pretty good week. Can't complain at all. Awesome. It's posted on my Discord. Always takes about 5 minutes before the API realizes that Twitch is live. I think it's a thing on Twitch's end. Twitch always kind of, the API on Twitch takes about 5 minutes to kind of pull the live channel listing. Now, is that a little bit? I wonder if the frame rate's a little bit weird. It says unstable. Could really do with checking what the issue is with my bit rate. So there's no delays. Generally, the diagnostics for my channel suggests I've only had 5 seconds of unstable streaming on the 20th, and yet it's still saying my stream is unstable. Weird. Might have to re-investigate the best settings for Twitch. So I've changed a few things over fairly recently, so it's not happy. Anyway, as long as it's live and you guys can see it. And it seems to be live on YouTube as well, which is awesome. Well, YouTube seems to be a little bit more. Yeah, the frame rate on YouTube looks better than it is on Twitch. Well, it doesn't matter. So as long as we're live and you can see us, you can hear us, it's all good. We're going to switch over to Unity, and we'll get on with making this game. Last week I switched over the input system to use the new input system rather than the input manager, which is deprecated. Despite it still saying down the bottom here, it still says this project uses input manager. I don't know how to go around that. I have considered making a fresh project, like a brand new fresh project, importing all the code and the assets and everything over, because this project was first made in several versions ago, and even though I've upgraded the project, maybe it's a little bit sort of it's a little bit unclean because of that. So what I might end up doing is starting a new project, not on the stream, but start a new project, copy all the needed assets over, and then sort of just see if it runs in as a fresh project without all the extra stuff. Certainly I'll be doing that before a full release, but probably the sooner I do that rather than later, there'll be less things to worry about. But I'll consider doing that off stream, because that's going to just be technical work and not really that fun to see. There's a lot of things like this castle pack down here. This has the entire castle pack included, which I'm only using little buildings and bits here and there. So that's probably a little bit overkill. And I can certainly delete a lot of stuff that's not needed. Like I've got characters and weapons, and again, I've only used a little bit of that. So yeah, I'll probably end up doing it at some point soon. I'll probably put the demo out as it is in the current setup, and then once we're happy with that, I'll then and then kind of import to a new project, I think. Because I did see that built-in pipeline rendering is deprecated as well now. So they're kind of switching things off, and I think older projects won't be as stable. That's kind of what I'm thinking. But we'll see how we go. So let's have a look at what we can do today. I just want to kind of make sure it's in a stable state. I want to make sure it's working as intended before we move on to putting anything else. Because it's good to kind of touch base and go, well, where are we? Am I missing anything? Have I forgot anything? And certainly things like the chicken, I could probably redo the chicken model and stuff. Because that was imported, and it probably doesn't function as well as it could do. Scenes, there's the scenes. I'm using the default skybox as well for Unity, which could probably do. It's not bad. It's got a nice little blue horizon. Hey bot, how's it going? Hope you're having a good Friday. Hopefully YouTube stays stable today. I went back and checked my YouTube video for Wednesday, and I can't see any issues with the video. I just think YouTube may have not been putting it out live, but it was definitely recording it into the video. I just don't know why it wasn't broadcasting it. So maybe that's just a YouTube server issue. But I do apologise for Wednesday and cutting people off the YouTube channel. It's quite good. What's up? What's on the agenda today? By the way, it was just a chat that was down on YouTube. Okay. It looked like it was the video as well. It was being weird for me when I tried to view it on my laptop. So maybe there's some weird stuff going on. But the video's there at least, which is what I'm quite happy about, because I can go back and that stream has been recorded. It's one of the reasons I do stream to YouTube as well, because it's a forever VOD, whereas Twitch will delete your VODs after so much time anyway. As well as the fact that sort of I get awesome people watching on YouTube, and it kind of, I think YouTube brings in more people than Twitch does. I get more new people on YouTube than I do watching on Twitch. I get new people on Twitch mostly through association with other people. But it's kind of a gamble on Twitch. Which is weird, because you think, oh, Twitch is a main streaming platform. And yet YouTube seems to pick up stuff. Pick up people and advertise better. So there's an advantage to dual streaming. You know, there's some people that swear against it. You go, oh, you should not dual stream. It divides your viewer base. You go, well, clearly I don't seem to suffer. Quite happy. Let's go back to let's go to the main menu. We'll start from the beginning, make sure that the whole thing is working. So that's what's on the agenda today. Is make sure what I've got so far is definitely stable. Do a quick test run through. Make sure I'm happy. And then see if we can add some extra cool bits. Saw that the software coding category on stream is quite small. Yeah, it's a shame because there's not too many people, and I think people who do software coding and dev stuff, the times of the day that you will find people doing such stuff is quite varied. Like gaming, people can game at peak times, that's all. But then if you're coding and doing dev work, you tend to work at odd hours, and it's not always kind of based on a usual schedule. Still playing SpongeBob. Awesome. Hey Jeffrey, how's it going? This looks pretty cool, the SpongeBob games. I didn't realise they were out. But yeah, I find myself like, if it wasn't for me having a schedule for when I'll be coding stuff, I'll probably be coding at some very odd times. But I like coding this late on a Friday because it allows me to switch my brain off for a little bit from work. Because coding at work, staring at a screen, it's nice to take a break away from looking at code, relax, kind of sort of allow my mind to kind of reset, and then I can start coding later on in the evening. Gaming, however, I don't need to switch off so much because gaming is the switch off. So I kind of switch off through gaming. Whereas coding, you kind of need to switch off beforehand, and then you go and place your mind into that technical state. Now, how's the SpongeBob games? Are they fun? Are they sort of? I'm guessing they're aimed towards a younger audience, but do they still have fun mechanics for an older kind of player? Currently experimenting with WebSockets to save myself from burnout. Quite ironic, actually. Code more to avoid burnout on coding. Yeah, sometimes it doesn't make sense, but it works. Switching up what you're working on can certainly help with burnout. As long as you're not doing it too often, because that can just burn you out in other ways. But taking a break from one project to look at another one allows you to come back to that project and go, okay, I feel fresher and I can approach this now without stressing. But WebSockets is something I'd like to sort of. I tried looking. I briefly looked at WebSockets and cool. I reckon I can do some interesting stuff with this, and then never carried on looking at it. But certainly, I want to look into more things like WebSockets and Web API kind of calls, and I briefly touched on them. But I'd like to kind of look at that, because that means I can send things like JSON files across the web to or just across networks to pass stuff back and forth without having direct connections. So certainly useful. Made a simple chat with it, but now I'm trying to do something multiplayer. Not sure what that. Oh, cool. I hope that goes well then. But for JSON files, you'd need something like REST API. Yeah, I need to. I did look into REST a little bit. Yeah, it's an area that I'm interested in, but I've not really spend time on. And I really didn't need to, really. So we have a project at work now that's using that kind of stuff, but I'm not directly involved in that project right now. So it'd be useful for me to know this so I could be involved in that project. Yeah, the extent I've got really is code behind kind of web applications where I can just connect to an SQL database, which is cool in itself. You're just basically making an app sort of for a web page, really. It's quite easy in my opinion. I'm not sure how it's on the lower level programming language. Yeah, I reckon I can pick it up pretty easy. I just need to spend time doing just that. Yeah, I never do more than about 5-10 minutes reading of stuff. What I actually need to do is create a small project. Right, shall we start having a look? So let's make sure I'm happy with everything on the main menu. So let's we'll hit play. So new game. Does that crash? Not doing anything. Does it crash Unity? It says level 1 is loading on the side here. You shouldn't have to have a loading screen. So that's not a good start. Where's the do I have a break button on here? Don't got a break on this keyboard. Okay, switch over back to my full camera and we'll quit out of Unity because it seems to be stuck. And we'll have to do some diagnostics. That's not a good start. Definitely not a good start. So let's kill Unity. It's using 2 gig of RAM. Right, so load the project back up. Gonna copy and preserve these backups. No. Crazy how the past 2 Unity streams have been a bit bumpy. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's because I've had to upgrade the editor version, or whether I've done something in the actual scenes themselves, which is upsetting it. Let's switch back over to Unity. So. Happy Friday, King. How's it going? Good to see you. Hope you've had a good week. Right. Should we just do one more quick test to see if it was a one-off? Play. Go new game. Okay, so it went straight in this time. I'm still going to have to do that a couple of times, I think, to be uncertain. So let's stop, play. New game. Okay, I don't know what was the issue. Let's go back to main menu. Now is that going to crash? Main menu network. Something's not happy with this. It's not crashed, but it's not doing anything either. Stop the game. Let's go. Let's actually open up level 1. Yes, still playable now though. Just a platformer. Especially second one. I have 4 in this specific SpongeBob series. Is so far filled with references and inside jokes to the series, especially old episodes. Nice. Now, I like when games games kind of rewards people from all ages playing them, even if they are targeted towards a younger audience. Because there's still loads of games I enjoy playing which don't really have an age rating. They're just for everybody. Going good. Glad it's Friday. How are you? What's your project? I'm glad to hear, King. This project is my first attempt at making a game. So it's a silly game. It's throwing a rock at a building. Just to see if I could. So all this game is, can I do it? Just try. And then it just became a game from there. But what is seemingly happening is it's struggling. I don't know why it's struggling. It was fine last week. It's using 1.5 GB for the editor. None of the game is not running, it just seems to be stuck. What is going on with this? Is it something to do with the upgrading the editor version may have thrown this off? So let's hit stop. Let's try again. It's loaded into the game. The timer's not ticking. The UI is not responding. It's just kind of stuck. Hey Lisa, I sell emotes. Sell the best emotes. There they are. All those awesome emotes. Now, have I done something? Let's go to level 3. Because it depends if I've done something on a later level, which has knocked off a previous level. It's all entirely possible. Oh, that's cool. How long have you been working on it? I've been working on this a couple of hours a week for about a year. So it's been slow kind of progress. Just kind of putting a little bit of time in on stream now and again. I got accepted into the master with the 3 coding assignments. Nice. Congratulations. That's going to be exciting. Something in the code might be causing it to hang. I feel it must be. I might have to go through and go, what things are actually starting up. And just kind of disable some things. Thank you, very excited, I bet. So what's the master doing again? What's the actual subject that you've picked out to do? Let's go to level 2. Slow progress is better than no progress. Keep up. Oh, thank you, King. Yeah, I say it's very much hobby level at the moment. I know C#, I just didn't know Unity. So I just learnt the engine on top. But we have definitely hit a snag today, because this was fine last week. And something is not happy now. I'm wondering whether if I clone a level and then just remove stuff and see if that would work. Now, does Unity allow you to do a quick, easy? So I know I can do it outside of the editor. Let's just create something and copy the stuff across. Might be just as easy to do that. So let's make a new scene. Scene. Create scene. So this is a level test. Let's open up level test. Now, just for peace of mind, can't really tell, but just want to see if not a lot you can really do to actually test that. Let's create a cube. Why can't I move? What's happened here? Is this something to do with Unity deprecating the pipeline? Has it just completely bricked my projects? It warned me about the pipeline no longer being supported. Didn't mean it actually completely stopped the rendering, because there's no cube there. You've got a mesh renderer. It's got a material. Where's the cube, Unity? What have you done to my cube? Oh, there it is. It's just really, really small. Okay, we have a cube. Where's the camera in this whole thing? I don't even know where the cube is. That's the cube. Let's zero everything. Just want to be sure. Oh, there's a camera. There's a cube. Want to be sure there's no fundamental breaks in it. Right, there's a cube there. Let's play the test level. Okay, it renders. There's a cube. Awesome. Good start. We shall then delete the cube. Can we actually bring... We can. Cool. Just bring it into the level. We'll double the lighting, but... Can we then delete that directional light? Cool. Okay. Out of interest, would that actually... What was happening if we do this? With 2 cameras now. Two audio listeners in the same scene, ensure there's exactly one audio listener in the scene. Makes sense. Okay. Delete the camera. It's not got any error. Oh, it's got one error here. Cannot find launch and input system. Is this the whole problem? It just didn't pop up. Cannot find launch and input system. Okay, we might be okay on this then. Let's delete level test. If it's just down to the keyboard controls having an issue, why did it? I suppose it says the last thing. It might be the input system. Be right back, dog time. Okie dokie. We'll see you shortly. What's happened to the launch? There was a launch thing here. It's not there anymore. Okay, jump. Let's copy, duplicate jump and rename that launch. Why do things have to break here? Maybe there's a crash or something. Launch. So launch is spacebar and A button on an Xbox controller. Which coincidentally is the same as jump, which is why I've copied jump here. Oh, you can't see it. That's annoying. You just realise that screen doesn't pop up if I do this. Oh yeah, there we are. Can you see the live code execution like an Unreal Engine? I don't know actually. You mean like to be able to step through it and to see it going line by line? I've never tried. I've kind of just do the code, run it, and put console output. I could try. No, I'm just going to save this. If this was the only issue, then it was probably my fault, or Unity's fault. Always be useful for debugging, yes. Oh, there we go. That's all the issue. It was missing a keyboard command which was in there previously. Let's turn the music down. Yeah, so this is level 1. I still kind of want to change the code for the input because it's not ideal. I kind of made it work, but I found a better way of doing it. Crazy how one thing can brick your whole game. Yeah, like what did me is that I was expecting to see it stop, but it's what happened. It errored, but then the code execution carried on. I went on to okay, let's carry on and start stuff, but then it still hung because it was missing something. But I suppose that's the problem when you've got asynchronous scripts, is that one of the scripts can error, other scripts can be successful. Right, so that's working. That's working at least. Let's go back to what we were doing. I'm doing a from the start test. Go, not scripts, scenes. Go back to main menu. But yeah, I suppose it would be useful to let's hide that. Yeah, it would be useful just to kind of put a stop in here and see it stop. I don't know. Maybe try. Let's go back to level 1. So will it do a stop there? Yeah, I don't think it works in the same way because the code is external. I don't think I can see the live execution that way, unless I can put a stop in the Unity code. Actually, the code within Unity, because it kind of allows you to edit, save, and kind of save and update the file that way. So Unity kind of uses an external code editor rather than like in-engine editor. So it comes packaged with Visual Studio or Visual Studio Code, whatever your preference is. But yeah, it'd be useful for debugging because I do that for Windows apps at work. I'm able to just kind of runtime code execution, step through, see what variables are doing, kind of like grab values and stuff, and very useful to see what's happening. But yeah, with this, you kind of have to throw things out to the UI in the editor for you to actually monitor what's going on. So in that sense, it does make it slightly harder. Okay, so let's go new game. So main menu, that's just text. I think I'm gonna have to change the way this looks, because to make it quick, cheap, and fast to make, I've just got the same button graphic and put different words on it. But if they're all the same graphic, how do you know that that's not a button, but that is a button? So I do need to change this UI. Make main menu. I'd like main menu to almost be a like a bigger wooden block. Does that make sense? Rather than being the same size wooden graphic, and potentially having like chains, like, you know, old shop signs where you've got like a chain hanging down holding the sign. I wouldn't mind have like chains kind of like coming off a bigger wooden thing, and these kind of just hanging off the main menu block. Potentially even animated so they kind of like fall down and just get stopped by the chain. But that'll be cool. It's not necessary, but it would look cool as an effect. But again, that needs to be looked at and improved. It's just visual stuff at that point. So if we click new game, we get a new game. It starts off. What I would like to check as I'm doing this is the scriptable objects and the game progress. Yeah, so here's the actual progress for the game. So that's completely reset. So if I click main menu, it takes me back to main menu. If I go continue, of course it's then saved over that. But I could click level 3 even though I've not unlocked level 3 technically. So that's something I need to do on stream today, is make it so you can't skip a level if technically the file on the right hand side here says you've not unlocked the level. Be right back, okie dokie. Going to switch to Twitch, okie dokie. Switch to Twitch. Don't think I've actually completed this level. I only made this a couple of weeks ago. So not last stream, but the stream before. So I don't know if this level is completable. So things we've discovered so far is making sure the progress file has a space for 3 levels, because it's only got space for 2. The level select screen for continue needs to read the game's save state and determine if a level is available to the player, and only allow that level to be loaded if the player has unlocked it. Well, that's a nice one. That's right across the top of the building. Or another one. See if we can get both towers, and we'll get the wall in the middle. Something I still need to do is look up 3 or 4 other kind of impact sounds to vary the sound of the rock hitting the building. At the moment it varies the pitch just to give it slight variation, but I think I could probably still have a slight pitch variation, but also a variation of sound effect as well, just to keep it quite fresh and non-repetitive to the player. I think I've got most of that tower. Let's just go right to the top there. How? Have a little bit. I think I've got both the towers. Let's take out as much as the center wall, and then I'll use the hint feature to indicate if I've missed anything. Nice double hit. I would like to implement a points system for double impacts and things like that. It'd be quite satisfying. Okay, you got 1 impact, but you got a ricochet, and that adds you like a times multiplier to your points. So I'll give you an extra stat to kind of work with. At the moment, the only real stat or progress to measure against is how quickly you complete the level. So at the moment I'm on 4 minutes 30. And based on that time, it's obviously a gold, silver or bronze medal is then assigned to your efforts. And it's, if you can try and get a gold medal on each of the levels, that's about as much as completion as you can do right now. Oh, not bad. I got that one right in the top corner. Let's see if we can get that. Nice. What else we got? Some just there. Whoops, overshot. A little bit less power. And now we've got one over here somewhere. A bit more power. Oh, one still there in the center. Aha! It's crashed. What's the red text say? Medal container rewards not in range. Oh, probably because I've not set a time for this level yet. Object reference, not instance of object reference. Yeah, basically it doesn't know what to reward me because I've not actually given it any parameters. But otherwise, that seems to be okay. So I need to. It would be nice if I automated this actually as well a little bit, because this could lead to an issue if I forget to apply these to match the levels. So me just doing this, for instance, that's fixed part of the issue just by clicking that. But what would be useful for the game to do a check on this object and go, well, is there enough elements here to satisfy the game? I'm back. Welcome back, Phoenix, aka Bot. Doesn't save the hints used there. So what we need to do, game values, power slides, medals. There we go. The medals level 1, medals level 2. So I need to make a medals level 3. Let's create that. So create medal container. It's not a medal container, it's a medal award time. Let's create a medal award time. Medal award time, there we go. And call that medals level 3. Now the sprite is going to be the same sprite, so it's almost like this needs to kind of pull in the value. I shouldn't have to assign it for every object really, because they are set sprites. So what will be a better way of doing that? I suppose I can call on the object, can't I? So within the code for this object, it just goes, well, get these sprites, rather than having them assigned to each of these objects. So all I've done is drag the objects into there. I'll do it for now for testing purposes, but I could do a rethinking how these objects work, because all I really need is the 3 time sets, not not the sprites. The sprites are unchanging. Maybe the medal container, maybe this should have the sprites in it. Because there's only ever one of these. So let's have a look at that. Medal award container. So maybe I should put it in there. There's the medal award times. And just put that into there. And save that. Depends whether the container, the actual the sprite comes into it, like bronze. So get middle sprite. So the container only really middle award times. You've got the middle container. So it pulls the container there. So it gets middle sprite. So maybe I need to rethink this. So rather than pulling the sprite from the award object, we need to pull the ID from the object and then reference that in here. Seems like Twitch buffers more than YouTube, might as well switch back. Okie dokie. What I'm going to do is be right back for a sec. Just be a couple of minutes. Be back with you in a sec as well. I'm back. So I'm thinking. So get middle sprite. So we already got get middle index here. So if the only place that actually pulls it is the medal award. So we calculate medal 1. Medal award time. So rather than the sprite being there, we could do just getting the medal index. private int middle index. Middle index equals middle of all times get middle index. So I guess the index, and what we could do with then is get middle sprite, copying that function into the container. Putting index into there. So that's pulling the times, that's pulling the sprite, and the sprite is based on those sprites up here. So rather than using this there, so we comment that out for old references. Maybe the middle. There we go. So yeah, middle sprite dot sprite equals middle container dot get middle sprite middle index. Stuck out a boss since way before dog walk. Oh no, bit of a challenge. Right, we'll save that there, and that will then save me having to create or drop the sprites into multiple objects. So wait for it to reassemble itself. Okay, so middle container now has those. Awesome. Oh, I did not want to open those there. So they're in sprites. Useful to know. Scriptable objects, middle container, sprites. So bronze, silver, gold, and none. And middle's level 3, middle of all times. So that means that I don't actually need the sprites into here now anymore. And just confirm middle of all times. If I were to hide those, what breaks in this code? Is it just that function? Middle 1. Got it. Awesome. Is middle 1 not actually used? Let's uncomment those. So middle 1's not actually referenced. Okay, fair enough. Oops. So all that is storing the time and the index. And I calculate the middle one, so that calculates what the index is. It does need to know. Does need to know that. Does need to know that. Okay. Save that. We'll do a quick test. We'll do it on level 1 because that's going to be the quickest way to make sure that works. And that means the times in the middle of award times are just times. So that keeps the scope of that object pretty narrow then. And these times are the same times for each level, but obviously it's going to take longer for certain levels, and I need to gauge what a fast time, an average time, and a slow time is going to be for each level. And then the container holds those plus reference to those. So let's go to scenes. If I go save, in case we have a major catastrophe. Let's go to level 1 and play. Well, was not expecting it to do that. Something, well, we know it works because I got a gold medal for completing it in 8 seconds. Not entirely intending that to happen, but it proves our point that it's... I think it's because I stopped the level at the end of completion, so the flag to say, yes, we've won. It's a feature now. Yeah, the flag to say the level has been won was still set. So it goes, oh, level's won. Destroy building. So that is one way to quickly finish a level. If I go into the flag for where is it? This one. So these values here monitor the actual active level. So if I were to type in square count 1, squares hit 1, a calculation will go, are those squares hit equal to the amount of squares available? Yes, if it's true, then it goes, well, all the squares have been hit, level complete. So these are basically just working values here, and then this object is the overall progression for the entire game. So it kind of just takes these values, the active values per level, resets this every time the level starts, and then updates this object as it goes. And then when the game saves to disk, these values get dropped into a JSON file to save to the disk, and then loaded from JSON into this object to then continue playing the game. So I'm quite happy that works. I've never done anything like that before, and it worked pretty much without too much working out. So I'm happy that does that. Shall we try level 3 again? So we know level 3 technically should be completable now. In fact, I could probably cheese it. Let's go to scriptable objects. Go to game values. So it says 333 squares to hit. But then go 300. Ah, of course. So I can't cheese it. Twin towers now, we've got twin castles. Yeah, level 2 is twin towers. Yeah, I can't cheese it because that value is constantly being checked and updated. But if I paused the game, typed that value in, and then continued, I've crashed it. It did not like me injecting a different value in there. Oops. Yeah, I can't even hit stop. That whole editor is just frozen. Considering it wasn't me. Considering this is supposed to be the latest and most stable version of the editor, I've had less stability. Right, okay, let's go back to my camera for a moment while I kill Unity again for the second time in the stream. Boom, exploded. Loads of projects again. Do you want to copy reserve these backups? No, I don't need to keep a backup of the thing. I already saved it prior. Unity anti-cheat, yes. Okay, switch back up to Unity. I'm hoping if I copy everything into a new project, eventually, it'll do away with these warnings down the bottom that says this project uses an outdated feature, which I'm pretty sure it doesn't because I've switched everything over, but somewhere within this it still thinks I'm using an old feature. But I want to get this version in this project file stable, and then I'll look at migrating everything into a new project file, and hopefully that will be cleaner. There won't be any kind of hangover from previous versions. Right, let's just play the level as intended. Let's turn those volumes down a little bit. Still not sure if I actually put the new files into the because we did a little bit for audio editing, didn't we, the other week? I don't think I've actually updated which files the game's using. Oh, I'm pretty sure I did actually. I did. So I recall it sounding better. But I do need to kind of set it the default starting values to be 0.5 for both. Yeah, well, Unity was updating. Yeah. I just need to make sure there's nothing overriding those values and what files are being used. Ooh, ricochet off. There we go. I wonder if I should have like a points multiplier for how many cracks you achieve in one go. It does feel a little bit cheaty, the fact you can just roll the rock across the face. It just cracks multiple things, but then there's certain bits you can only achieve by doing so. But maybe it'd be like a speedrun technique to be able to roll the rock across the face of it, such as that. I would like to add more crack graphics. So I think I've only got 4. I think I've got 4 different crack graphics, which one is that black hole. One's like a straight diagonal crack. And then I got 2 kind of more varied looking ones. Okay, I think that's the two of those. But maybe that corner just there is not quite. Yeah, we'll find out anyway. Someone listening to what you just said without... Someone listening to what you just said without context. Yeah. Yeah, it's when you start clipping the stream and go, hang on a minute. There's one feature of when I was paying for Restream, because Restream still connects to my channels and relays the chat between YouTube and Twitch. But when I was paying for it, it was creating, it was using AI to create stream clips, kind of like picking out what it thought was interesting topic pieces I was talking about, made a small clip and created a what are they called? Transcript. Creating a transcript for what I was saying, which seemed a pretty cool feature because it means you don't have to go back through your videos and find a good bit to clip and all this. But it'd only do you a couple, and then you'd have to pay even more to get the full feature. So that, yeah, I don't want clips that badly to start paying a company to use their AI to make me clips. But I know what streams typically I end up seemingly coming out with nuggets of wisdom. I just don't bother to go back and clip them. Okay, got two more over here. So is that top corner there? So what I might end up having to do is trying to make it easy to get to. There we go. I don't know, unless you want to keep that as a level of difficulty. It's finding that line of, oh, still didn't like it. What's going on? Oh, has the editor crashed again? Yeah, it's finding that line between what is a challenge and what is something that is too difficult for most people to achieve. Like, oh, he's back. Welcome back, Lisa. So what has he still sell emotes? Still sell the best emotes. There they are. I wonder how we catch. Limited deal now. Act fast. Like, why is the editor? Well, I suppose it's got to be the editor that's hanging and crashing. Because if it's the game, I could just hit stop and it's not throwing any errors. Like the fact I can't even click on the console to see an error. So what is going on, Unity? Because it didn't actually, it must have just went to 330, but didn't get a chance to actually update this value. It would have went, ah, okay, numbers match, run code, can't run code, crash. And it did that all before we could update this. Maybe they forgot to add an unstable Unstable when they release this version. Yeah, it feels like it. Okay, let's switch back to my camera for the moment. We need a Unity crash count in the bottom corner of the stream, don't we? Editor. Kill the editor. Okay, now the pipeline is... They've not even released the version where the pipeline is deprecated. This version 6000.5 and the latest version is 6000.3. So that's a bit odd the way it's worded that, because it is deprecated for Unity Editor version 6.5. 6.5 doesn't exist yet. Unity kill count 3, yes. I love streams that have like kill counts on them. So you can usually troll the streamer. You go, ah, you died again. Okay, so is it just this level? Because level 1, I'm actually... Well, let's try playing level 1. It's just for peace of mind. Just for peace of mind. Let's play level 1, complete that. So we know it's... The code is the same. Time to troll Unity here. The code's the same code. Switch over the... the code is the same code, no matter what the level. I purposely made sure I've not got anything unique between the levels other than what you visually see. As much as possible. It's all running the same code. It's all the same objects. And even what you hit is technically the same object with different parameters applied to it. So each level is technically on a code level the same. So let's play level 1. Let's, for peace of mind, just go on. Is it not the code? Have I forgotten something? Is there a missing object that is trying to find? In which case I need to put an error catch in case that object doesn't exist. But we'll find out. Oh, it feels so heavy. Because I've got different settings for the trebuchet depending on the level. So settings for level 1. You almost need to hold this down longer to get the bar up there compared to later levels, because it's more precise because you're closer to the building. I sadly have to go now. Hope you figure out this strange bug. Good night, enjoy your weekend. Thank you, bot. Thank you for being here. Hope you enjoy your night and your weekend as well. And I shall see you next time. Hope you have a good rest. But yeah, we all get to the bottom of this. I am an expert bug squasher. Professional bug squasher, if you will. Professional bug creator as well, I suppose. I create the bugs and then I squish them. I remember seeing it around a few times now, but it's kind of, I suppose it's a drinking song, but sort of 99 bottles. There goes 99 bottles of beer on the wall. 99 bottles of beer. Is it take one down, pass it around? 98 bottles of beer on the wall. But there's a programming, coding variation, which is 99 bugs in the code. Take one out, patch it down, 108 bugs in the code. And of course the joke is the bugs actually go up and not down. Okay, 3 more. Ah, no. Right, okay. It crashes no matter which level I'm playing. So this is a game-wide issue now. Which kind of makes it easier in some ways. Because I can just test it on this level. So maybe I need to switch off certain features. So let's go back to main camera. That one. Back to main camera. Let's kill Unity. And then I need to disable certain parts of the process. We'll work out which part is not happy. Could well be to do the medal. The medal's working before. I don't know what's going on with that. Right, back on it. Fortunately, the project loads pretty quickly. That's one advantage for having the latest version of the editor. So, what happens when the level is complete? So we've got level end here. So this is, what do we have here? We've got show UI, hide UI. So this is literally just changing what you see on the screen at the end of the level. So what is this doing? Play next level. That's just loading up the next level. So this doesn't change anything. So I'm happy that's fine. It could be something to do with this because we've changed the way the medals are doing things now. So we can delete that because I'm pretty confident no matter what happens we're not going to be using that anymore. Should we put a stop in? Well, I can't put a stop. So we want, one of the things that happens when you finish the level is it's going to call the medal index. It's going to calculate this, and it's going to call that. So let's see if it crashes at this point. So debug Calculating time. So we can do that. So we just look at the medal award times. So let's see if the medal's coming up. We can at least put a pin as to where it's crashing. Let's go save. Let's get the console up there so we can see it. Actually, let's get the game values as well. We might be able to instantly simulate the... It's happening me doing that, so I could. 1, 2, 0. Unpause. Okay, so calculating medal reward time for 12 seconds. Getting medal index free. Getting medal index free. In progress manager. Okay, let's do that. So I want to see if it gets as far as calculating the medals. I know the medal code works because we've just triggered it and it was working previously. There's a number of things that happens upon finishing a level and they're all asynchronous, which makes it a little bit harder to debug because they're not dependent on each other. Like they can all work independently, but there are some things which are dependent on other things. And I may have linked things together inadvertently, in which case I need to look at it and kind of separate them out and make sure they don't kind of step on each other's toes, so to speak. Okay, I've not changed any code. And it's not crashed this time. One thing that's not working, however, is the keyboard controls. Why is the keyboard controls not? Why is that not working there? Does it work on the controller? Interesting. Go back to main menu. Can go new game. Okay, go back to main menu. Go continue level 2. Interesting. Let's go straight to level 2. Does it work? It works when you go straight into level 2. Oh, that's certainly broken as well then. Yeah, I think the main focus is going to be fixing the game. So I'm generally happy with how it's supposedly functioning. I know there's extra features I can add to this. So many more levels I could make. But I want to make it currently as it is, as solid as it can be, and demonstrate the features correctly that it currently has. And once I'm happy with that, I can throw it out to you guys to play and test again. There's no point putting something out which I myself am seeing bugs in, because it's just going to impede how other people are going to experience it. Doesn't really help me then. What I was thinking of doing with this particular level is putting in like an adjoining bridge between the two buildings here. It's almost like a H shape. Or even maybe like a little archway, so they're still technically the same building, if that makes sense. At the moment, they're two separate buildings, and it kind of feels weird that both buildings won't fall down until both have been fully damaged. Because what's keeping the one building up if it's fully damaged but the other one isn't? So if they're joined in some manner, then at least it kind of says, well, they're all technically one building, and the structure needs to be damaged wholly to fall down. Again, this was kind of like a very quick test level, so it doesn't have to remain anything like it currently does in order to be in the finished product. Okay, where am I missing? Literally just there. No, I didn't have the console open. Okay. It's definitely not liking something. I'm not going to even switch my camera over. I'm just going to kill Unity and reopen it. But that kind of indicates that it's not getting as far as the medals. So it's something prior to the medals. I suppose all I can really do is go through all the code and just add in some debugs. So let's put a yeah, level complete calculating medal award. Let's put one in there as well. That's been too constant. I don't think I want to put something in there. These are sort of basic, simple math things that haven't been changed for ages, so don't think there's an issue there. Rap me a freestyle rap about SpongeBob true to canon lore. That makes for a very good chat GDP prompt. You can't do... If you can't do... Dancey dance. I can do a dancey. Right, shall we... Yay, dancey dance. Do I actually have can't remember if I actually have. I don't have parrot, do I? No, I can't remember actually. I was going to put the parrot in there or not. But you know the little dancing parrot. You can do exclamation mark dance, and the little panda does a little dance. And feed as well. Eventually I would like to make my own stream pet. Probably make something in Unity that kind of I can put onto OBS. Basically for you guys to play with. I suppose you can kind of like feed the pet, so pet the pet, play ball with the pet or something. Right, so we got level complete, checking medals. Save. Let's just save. That's all I want to do. Game progress manager. Is that what's missing? Or is that just for me to look at? Okay, that's open anyway. Right, we'll save it. We'll play the level again, but this time I'll definitely have the console open. And let's have the game values. Now we'll check game values. It might be something to do with saving to game progress, but I want to make sure we're seeing the medals coming up first. What are we doing for time? 1 hour 50. Cool, got those ones. I think that's most, if not all, of that building. A little bit too high. Put that one. Just that little bit across the middle there. Right, what am I missing? Oh, just this one over here. So it's not got, definitely not got as far as the metal code. Okay, let's kill Unity again. Just over 3.5 gig. To me, that suggests that something's definitely stuck. Oh, I don't know. It might. I have to check how much RAM it's using. While the game's not crashed. So what else happens then? Let's finish loading. So maybe what we've got 10 things, 10 places where we're checking whether the level's complete. So that's 10 places that could be screwing up. So castle fixed update. Let's go through all of these ones then. Let's put a debug into all of these. Castle's collapsing. And at the very least, when I come to not need these debug logs anymore, I can just comment them out and it becomes a nice comment because that says exactly what's happening here. done that one. I think we've done both of those. Level timer. Level complete stopping timer. Medal rewards. We've got those two there. Play UI. So level complete does not equal level complete, then set active. Yeah, well, it probably isn't this, but better to be safe than sorry. How have we now got 11 references? There's only 10 before. Oh, because I'm calling it there. Fair enough. Okay, so that should be all 10 places that I'm referencing, or 11 places now. Right, let's give that a save. Make sure the project is saved. Let's do this again. Just wanted to show me some debug value. Well, that's running. Let's have a quick look. Okay, so the editor right now playing this level is using just over 2.5 gig. I shall have to, once I'm happy there's no bugs, I'll have to see how efficient the game is when it's running by itself. Whether the editor, it's running the game in the editor is just heavy anyway. And whether when it's compiled and playing by itself it's lighter. But obviously it shows I could do with making the game a little bit less intensive on the computer, which means more people can play the game. Optimization, that's the word. You need to optimize the game so it's not running too many loops, loading too many assets or data in the background. Pretty confident I've got everything on that side now. Yeah, this level definitely will change by the time it's fully released, because things like having those crates and those barrels there don't really make sense. But they're there for me to test. But it's definitely a problem with the showing the different projectiles in the menu. So that needs fixing anyway. Well, we've got to work out why it's crashing on level completion now though. So I've done something. And it's not the loading of the next level, because it's not even getting that far. It's supposed to grab the time, show the medal, save the current status. No, it might be just saving the current status. It might be going, can't save the file. We have a problem. There's one thing I've not really checked is when it actually goes to save save to the JSON file. It's not doing anything there. Okay. Yeah, so it's not using any more RAM than it was when it was not crashed. So let's kill Unity again. Open up the project again. Don't load up the crash stuff. Let's disable saving progress. It doesn't need to save progress. So we'll disable that feature, and I think we're just going to have to start just disabling stuff and then see what works after it being disabled. So game progress manager. Game progress manager there. So game progress, game values, medal container, sound volume. So we'll comment that out. So it's no longer saving stuff. Just in case that's an issue. Update level progress. Just comment that out. Do that and turn that into a private. And make it serialized. Change this to a function, then it's easy to track. That's Castle Smoke. Progress Manager. No issues with that. Hit display. Little end. No issues there. Four times. So it's going to be much easier to track what's being used if it's based on a function. There's medal rewards, play UI. Time displays. UI controls. Okay. I could do with putting functions for all of these really, so I can see where's actually updating, because at the moment you can't see what actually updates these directly. I can do it via this reference here. So okay, there's 10 references to the game values, but I don't know what of these fields are actually using those references. Just switched telecom providers. Ooh. Yeah, it's always good when you can do that. I know some places you're kind of stuck with one provider. Why did you end up switching? Was it just the cost, or needing better service? Current one was hacked. Instead of paying the hackers 1 million, which isn't much for a company, they didn't, and now there is insane data leaks. Oh no. Oh. And besides all that, I still have to pay full price for my subscription. Yeah, that's bad. Yeah, don't blame me for switching. Can't trust companies like that. The fact they were hacked in the first place is quite bad. That's settings collapsing, and that's settings collapsing. Like, give me more than, sorry, my data hasn't been leaked yet, but the company should protect client data. Yeah. But they have a duty of care to look after that data, otherwise they breach the law. You can't just say, oops. We somehow let your data get out to people. Right, so now I know castle collapsing things. Let's put a debug in here as well. So I switched to one way cheaper for 12 months. Sub would be €4.50, 40 gigabyte unlimited calls. After 12 months, it's €12, which is still cheaper than current. That's not bad at all. That's really good. That's better than what I'm paying. I can't remember what I'm paying, but it's more than that. So Good deal, very good deal. Like even the €12 is a good deal. €4.50 for 12 months. Yeah, I think I'm 15. Now I pay €17 for the hack one. Ooh. Let's have a quick look at I think I've sorted my last bill. Just usually send me a text message to tell me what my bill is. Well, it sends me a text message saying the bill is on the app, but it doesn't tell me what the bill is. October last year, it was £15.25. So what's that in euros? I don't want to send feedback to Google. I want to use Google. Okay. I'm going to change the same one as Lisa as well with €4.50. Nice, don't blame you. Don't know what that's about, Google. But... yeah, so I'm currently paying €17.39 roughly, and that's for 12 gigabytes and unlimited calls and text. But I've not looked around for like if there's any cheaper deals for a while. So I'm roughly playing the same as what you were on the hacked one. So castle collapsing. So castle collapsing is a flag to say, well, it's do things. The level has ended. The setting collapsing as well. So set true. Let's put this here. It is not popped. Castle is collapsing. Right, we'll do that. There's a few things in there now. We'll do one more playthrough. I'll see if it comes up with any debugs. and then we'll call it after that. So just do this one last test. Generally speaking, I'm happy with my phone supplier. Especially they merged, because I'm on Free Mobile, and they've merged with Vodafone. Supposedly in the next year or so, they'll be combining the network infrastructure, which means all the towers that were set up for Vodafone and all the towers that were set up for Free will be operating for both contracts, kind of thing. So I should have better signal in places I didn't have signal but Vodafone did have, and vice versa, people on Vodafone that didn't have signal where Free did. So that's quite cool, I suppose. Especially as I think at the Downloads Festival, Vodafone had a pretty good signal, but Free didn't. So if they do that in time for downloads, then I should have a decent phone signal. But then I don't miss it too much. It's just nice to be able to get things like weather reports and keeping up to date with things while you're sat back at the camp. Especially when they download do updates themselves to their own app. So it's like, okay, latest information about the bands playing today is on the app. And you go, well, cool, I can't update the information because the signal's crap. About 2/3 away for this building. I'm generally happy with how the game's looking and functioning. I would like to look into like shaders. That kind of change the way the actual the overall game, how the visuals kind of look. Because I know you can get some pretty cool shaders that will just change the rendering a little bit. It works. I've done nothing other than put these things down here. It does show though that there's some unnecessary looping going on though. You see how many updates I'm getting down here and the game's not doing anything. So if anything, this tells me I'm doing some unnecessary stuff. but it works. So I'm confused now because I've done well. No, I have done one thing. I have I commented out it's saving the file. So we'll have a look at that next time. And it's not crashing, but I'm tired and I'm unwilling to try something else. But it's working. It's working. So thank you for the stream, or thank you for being here, Lisa.
Epic.
Epic as always. Awesome. Glad you enjoyed it.
Epic.
I still need to put a timeout on that so it doesn't double up. Goodbye. Thank you, Jeffrey. Thank you for being here. Have a good night, a great weekend, and see you on Monday. Yes, looking forward to Trine 3. That should be fun. I've been enjoying Trine. Well, let's call the notes. But thank you for being here. Thank you, Jeffrey. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Bot, for dropping in earlier. And everyone else who's lurking, who have dropped by to say hello. Appreciate you all. I'm going to get some rest now, so enjoy the rest of your evening. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll be back on Monday playing Trine 3. So I shall see you then. Hope you have a good night. Good night.